A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us at this time. I want to trust that you had a great time with Vicky Vic, the sports minister, on radio, on sports, on Eagles Wings. It's not time for us to talk politics and current affairs. And on the show this morning, we shall be beaming our searchlight or spotlight on Enugu State, Governor Peter Mbah-led administration. I will be speaking with the SA media to the Enugu State Governor, Dan Wauma. He joins us live via telephone this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Dan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. A spotlight on Enugu State, Governor Peter Mbah-led administration. It's been 2 years in office, and he had actually made quite a number of promises prior to when he was sworn in as governor of the state. And just wondering at this point in time if he's indeed been able to match words with action. So in the course of this conversation, Mr. Dan, we expect that you'll be able to talk us through some of the achievements, cutting across different sectors in the state. But for starters, Mr. Dan, we've always known that Enugu State was formerly amongst, the sit-at-home states, but it appears that narrative has changed or is gradually changing. Could you please bring us up to speed, with that, and where are we at the moment as far as that is concerned?
Okay, thank you very much. I am particularly pleased that you are starting this engagement with the issue of insecurity and the sit-at-home menace in Enugu. When the governor assumed office on May 29, he did not spare any time in confronting and indeed successfully addressing the sit-at-home reckless sit-at-home orders imposed and enforced by non-state actors that crippled Enugu, because Enugu was only sitting at home on Mondays. The sit-at-home could be declared on any other day. So economic activities were grinding to a halt in Enugu. Insecurity, terrorism, shooting and killing of innocent people, forceful closure of markets. It was a reign of terror. And the governor came in and said, no, this is not acceptable. We cannot have a situation where a government is in office and in power and non-state actors will overpower the government. But more importantly, the governor was clear to Enugu that his economic agenda, his development program, could not be achieved unless the sit-at-home menace was defeated.
Right.
Because his entire manifesto hinged on growing the Enugu economy, attracting investments, private sector investments, and making Enugu the number one destination for economic activities, for investment, for tourism, and for living. So he summoned a meeting of the stakeholders across various segments in the state. And a declaration and resolution was made, or that a resolution was adopted and a declaration was made, announcing the end to sitting at home on Monday. And this was on June 3rd, 2023. So you can imagine barely 2 or 3 days in office. and people thought he was joking. But he mobilized security forces, launched a media campaign to educate the people that by sitting at home, we were inflicting harm on ourselves. And he took, of course, they fought back, but in no time, he began to take hold, and eventually we can say with happiness that today, the Enugu have all but erased the sad memories of sit at home, from their memories.
All right.
They have, because even recently, a lot of events have been happening in Enugu on Monday. So we have gone past the sit at home that era.
Okay.
Enugu is now booming and thriving with economic activities.
Okay.
Every day.
All right. Thank you very much for that insight. I mean, we've been made to understand over time the economic implication of the sit-at-home order across some other, eastern state. But we hear that Enugu State has been able to emancipate itself from this, era. One would say it's indeed a step in the right direction. And just like you rightly mentioned, that the governor had actually, issued like a warning or made his resolve very public just barely 3 days in office that he would, indeed put to an end the sit-at-home order. And since that has been achieved, right, kudos to the state governor. But how has this been able to change the tide of, Enugu State's economic status as we speak? Because quite frankly, sometime in June, the state had actually targeted a $30 billion GDP growth, in the state. And how realistic is that? I know that from June, when that statement was made up until this point in time, is such a short period of time. But what are the measures or strategies in place or on ground to ensure this $30 billion GDP growth in the state?
Well, the assessment is left to the independent bodies to make, and the governor recently called on the independent bodies, National Bureau of Statistics, and other agencies, both local and international, that they should come and reassess Enugu. Because no study has been done since then. They were confident that the Enugu economy is growing because we have been able to bring peace to the state and secure the state. The government did not just end the sit at home. He also embarked on security measures to put security measures in place to give the investors confidence that indeed Enugu is ready for business as he usually says.
Okay. And
he held a lot of investment summits, and so they marketed Enugu to investors. And we have been seeing a lot of the economic activity, a lot of investments coming into the state. New business establishments are springing up across the state, and of course, he also embarked on massive infrastructure development, like he would normally say that he needs to provide the key enablers that will attract investment.
Okay.
So we can mention a lot of new businesses that have taken off in Enugu in the past 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
But in the end, it is still left to the independent bodies to give a good account of the situation.
All right. I mean, we look forward to that, concrete data analysis and report from the NBS and other independent bodies, just like you've rightly mentioned. But if indeed the economy is thriving, how has this really impacted the lives of, residents of Enugu State from your own assessment as SA Media to the state governor?
Okay, when you have a governor who in the last year, who paved 91 roads in the city, 91 roads, with another 141 roads ongoing now, some of them already completed. And a governor that is aiming to have all the roads in the Enugu metropolis, all of them all of them will be tarred before the end of the year. That is the governor's objective. So you can imagine the tremendous impact on the lives of the people. Many of these streets have never seen asphalt since inception, indeed, maybe 60 years, 70 years, all parts of Enugu metropolis. And it doesn't end within Enugu metropolis. We have major roads that are ongoing in different parts of the state, major dualization projects, like the main road connecting Enugu and the second largest city of Nsukka, about 38 kilometers, is being dualized now. The road from the Enugu going to the Poitet border, another huge economic corridor, is already been dualized too. Then major interlocal government roads are also being reconstructed or constructed. So you can imagine the impact on the people. Do we talk about water? Do we talk about education? Do we talk about healthcare? What we are witnessing in Enugu State is not like a government that will normally focus on roads just to win public applause. No. This is a government that is pursuing an integrated economic development. So no sector is left out. Is it agriculture? 300,000 hectares of land across the state, earmarked for, not just earmarked, but already been leased out to farmers. A lot of farmers have come into the state.
Okay.
Some are taking 10,000 hectares of land, 5,000 hectares of land. And so you can break this down to sector by sector. You will see that the impact has been quite tremendous.
All right, we definitely would look at the agricultural sector, but in the meantime, we're still looking at the economic sector of the state, and just like you've rightly mentioned, that there are proofs on ground just to show that the governor has indeed been able to match words with action. However, talk us through the salary structure of civil servants in the state. I mean, there are states that are even yet to approve, the minimum wage adjustment, and there are also states that are finding it difficult to pay teachers or civil servants their salaries. Is that the case in Enugu State? And if not, how receptive are the civil servants to the state governor in terms of ensuring that their welfare packages, they are actually paid as and when due?
Well, it is better to hear from the civil servants themselves, because even on the last May Day, and the last May Day when they made their statements, they still said that they have never had this so good in the comparing this present administration with the previous ones, because they are getting the accumulated allowances, they are getting them paid, they are getting promotions, even the ones that were not done in the past. They are the minimum wage. Of course, that the federal government minimum wage is the benchmark is 70,000 naira, but Enugu surpassed it. We have the 80,000 minimum wage, and this was I think around November last year. And the civil servants have been getting they have been paying them the minimum wage. Then talk about the areas of pensions and gratuities. The governor did what other administrations did not have the courage to do, which is to do an entirely new biometric registration of civil servants to actually determine the number of people on the payroll. And a lot of fraud was discovered in the payroll, from pensions to gratuities. And the exercise is yet to be completed, but from what has been discovered so far, between 400 and 500 million naira leakages have been discovered, fraud
Okay, so
that have persisted over the years
who takes the blame
on
for that?
On a monthly basis.
Who takes the blame for that? Who takes the blame for that fraud? The previous or the former governor?
Is the system that has existed for a very long time. When you are doing manual method of doing things, a lot of government activities have been migrated to e-governance platform. And so if you have a system where, for instance, now, people who are no longer alive are still being paid pensions or being paid, you understand? So
right.
a whole lot of all sorts of fraud have existed for long. So it's just a systemic thing, because if you don't have if you don't deploy technology, you may not be able to discover all these things. So for long, this is the first time the government is transitioning to electronic platform for all of his transactions. So if I need to write the governor a mail now, I have to go to the Enugu State e-governance platform and write him a mail and write him a memo, and he will respond. So that's how the government functions now. So what the government is trying to do is to ensure that people who are on payroll, on pensions, or gratuities are real human beings.
Okay.
And not what will obtain in the past.
All right, thank you very much for that insight, Mr. Dan Wauma, SA Media, to the Enugu State Governor. Let's now digress a little bit. From all indication, you're obviously giving the governor a pat on the back for a job well done. However, there has been an influx of, arms and even activities of cultists, fighting in the state. Just last month, we understand that the police had actually arrested some cultists, and cache of arms were also recovered. So, there are different factors that can be attributed to, crimes like that. Joblessness, or maybe there is no enabling environment for youth to thrive, and that's why they would just want to concern themselves with crimes like this or social vices like this. So we are now digressing or delving into the security sector of the state, but I'd like you to speak to this trend of court rival attacks or court attacks, and armed robbers ravaging the state, possessing firearms and what have you.
Hello?
Yes, please, are you there?
Please, I didn't get that.
Okay. Yes, I'm just saying that you've been able to give us an insight to what the state governor is indeed doing, ensuring that the economy, is thriving, civil servants are well paid, and even, I said, when due. However, we've seen reports of, cults, fighting, and even armed robbery attacks, people moving about with unlawful, possession of, firearms. So help us, react to that, and also help us get sense of what the governor is indeed doing to curb this menace. Secondly, we also understand that there have been attacks of headsmen in Enugu State, not really recently, but as at less than 7 months ago, we saw those reports of armed headsmen, attacking residents or even farmers in the state. So what exactly is the governor doing in this regard by way of securing the lives and property of, a resident of Enugu State?
Okay, talking about the herdsmen farmers clashes.
Right.
Herdsmen attacks in some parts of the state. I want to start by telling you that many of the stories you read are actually not true.
Okay.
There has been a lot of, I don't know whether to call it sponsored negative stories.
Okay.
The police has come to they have come to issue statements on specific incidents, calling out the propagators of those stories. And there was a time they reported that 25 people were killed in Enugu 1. It was a pure fake news. And some of the reported killings in Hamufu. Yes, a few of them are true. And yes, we cannot deny that herdsmen attack is a problem in Enugu State. But it's also a national problem. We know that it's a national problem.
Okay.
That has to do with climate change and the search for grazing land by the farmers, by the herders, as they continue to push down the south. So it is a national problem.
Okay.
And Enugu has its own share of that problem.
Okay.
But the government of Enugu State is also addressing, seeking ways and indeed taking measures to address the problem of herders and even insecurity in general. Recently, the government restructured the forest guard, appointed a new commander to head revitalize the forest guard, and as well as the vigilante, the neighborhood vigilantes in the various villages. And then, but the measure the government is trying to use to address the herders. These things are all connected. You are trying to grow the economy. You are trying to revolutionize agriculture. We have acquired 100 tractors right now that are being deployed to the farms, and the governor has ordered another 900, which will be assembled right here in Enugu. There's a tractor assembly plant here. So what the governor is trying to do is to convert all these large expanse of agricultural fields lying fallow to productive assets. So we are all those ungoverned spaces that the herders prowl about without anybody to control them. The government is trying to convert those lands that have been lying waste for years and decades to agricultural plantations. And it is going on now. Now the government has every ward, Enugu State has 260 wards. And the government is establishing 260 farm estates. Okay. So in every ward, there will be 200 hectares of land devoted to agriculture, and it will be they will perimeter fenced, and then provided with tractors, extension services, and a warehouse, and then they will be connected to off-takers, and then people will be productively engaged in use. So the plan is that for each farm estate, it will be allocated to 200 farmers,
okay.
20 hectares per land. So he's taking off in many words, and we are expecting that even this is the government initiative. The government is also leasing out lands to people who want to engage in commercial farming. So the plan is, as you are addressing food shortage, as you are promoting food production, and you're also addressing insecurity by engaging people who are ordinarily idle.
Right.
So these things are all tied.
Okay.
It's not just.
I'm sorry to abort you, Mr. Dan. It appears that there is some level of unemployment amongst the youth there in Enugu State. I'm asking you this question now because we understand that there's been some sort of, rise in, cases linked to cultism and unlawful possession of firearms in the state by the youth. So, how would you react to that? If indeed all is well in the state, why do we still have cases like this going on in the state?
No, I don't even know where you're getting your report from. Enugu has not been known for these activities you are reporting.
Oh.
Enugu has not been known for that. I don't know. The major insecurity we have had has been from the herders attacking the farmers. Armed robbery has drastically been reduced since this government took over, because don't forget that one of the first projects that the governor did was to do a city surveillance project, which has been visited by the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, and even the National Security Advisor. And they have all said that it is one of the best they have seen. In fact, among the most sophisticated.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dan, thank you. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Enugu is under CCTV cameras.
The whole of the state? You mean the whole of the state is under CCTV surveillance?
Okay, I said Enugu Metropolis.
Okay.
Enugu, the capital city.
Okay.
Is under CCTV cameras. Then some flashpoint local governments. It has been extended to some flashpoint local governments.
Okay.
And it's a project that is still ongoing. The aim is to cover the entire state. So right now, it is actually difficult to commit a crime now, especially if you are using vehicle and not get caught.
Okay.
And we keep taking people to we have a command and control center under this administration. The administration, from the first week in office, the administration launched this project, and it's not just an ordinary project. We have fiber optic cables connecting all these cameras around the city.
Okay.
So it's a huge investment, and it goes with more than 150 brand new vehicles, patrol vehicles that also have surveillance cameras.
All right.
So Enugu is heavily under heavy
monitoring and surveillance.
Monitoring. So if you go to the command and control center, and this is what we always do. Last week, Enugu hosted the meeting of the biennial conference of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. So we had more than 400 editors in Enugu. And we made the point of taking them to the command and control center for them to see.
Okay.
And they see the command and control center in operation, and how even these are cameras with capacity to recognize faces, recognize number plates as even KK, the plate numbers of KK. KK. So, and these things are, you can track anybody, can track any vehicle, and these things are being deployed to the local governments.
Okay.
The local governments like Nsukka, like Isuzu, like Isuzuwani, they are already, all those flashpoint local governments. And the aim is to cover the entire local government. So
Okay.
it's not easy to commit a crime now in Enugu, especially in the capital city, and not the court.
Okay, Mr. Dan Waoma, we're due for a commercial break. We'll just have you hold your thoughts. We'll go pay some bills. When we come back, we'll link up with you again to continue the conversation. And as soon as we return, we'll beam our searchlight on the healthcare sector of the state. And we'll also have, the listener out there call in to make contributions as far as this conversation is concerned.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Well, to join us again, we'll be back in a short bit.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio. Eagles 102.3.
Oh yeah, now logistics. Oh yeah, now logistics. 1, 2, 3. You want order food? Oh yeah, now. Straight to your doorstep. We dey come. One pick up something. Oh yeah, now. Or drop off something. We dey come. Maybe you need that for shopping. Oh yeah, now. Direct from your favorite. We dey come. You want order your cooking gas. Oh yeah, now. Direct to your doorstep. We dey come. We dey run massive discount. Oh yeah, now. Just place your order now. We dey come. We dey run free delivery when you order. Oh yeah now.
Hurry now and download Oya Now app on the Google Play Store or Apple Store. You can also visit us at www.oyanow.ng or call us on 080-8410-1000 or 081-2355-4000. We are available in Lagos and Abuja. Oya Now with the come.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Nigeria, where every new day brings a fresh chance to dream bigger, push harder, and live confidently. But true confidence is more than hope. It's knowing that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you're protected, empowered, and ready for the journey ahead. At Sanlam Alliance, we believe confidence isn't just for a few, it's the right of everyone. That's why we have come together, uniting the strength of a Pan-African giant and a global leader to give you the financial protection and solutions you need to succeed. Because when we come together, we protect more, we achieve more, and we all rise together. Sanlam and Alliance is now Sanlam Alliance. Sanlam Alliance. Live with confidence.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
I like how the mathematics teacher they teach us. Even safe, she know they 2 bits and she know they give us so much homework. See, me, I just dey think of how to jack my when I finish school. Cause my papa don't talk to say he no get money to send me go university. When Nel Fund dey there, now waiting.
Yes, so Nel Fund na special loan from Tinubu government to help Nigeria students pursue them university education without wahala. Them go come later they pay back small when them don't get job. Apart that one, Tinubu government also get credit core and many other empowerment programs for Nigerian youths to give them kampe future. So therefore, Nigerian youths make una chill, no shaking. Hope don't renew, and even though we never reach where we dey go, Nigeria don't dey overcoming challenges small and prosperity don't dey show face. We don't dey road to national greatness. Make una support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to make Nigeria work. Nigeria, we don't dey waka the correct road. Now State House, Department of Media and Publicity power am.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Think Counseling Network in collaboration with Reeds Empire Human Development Limited and partners bring to you the Game Changer Conference, where entrepreneurs, leaders, and youth gather for one powerful purpose. Discover how to shift your thinking, redefine your patterns, and elevate your influence. Whether you are employed, unemployed, leading policies, or building empires. Date: Tuesday, July 8, 2025. Venue: Novera Central Mall, Use Zone 5 Hall, Abuja. Time: 11 a.m. Seats are limited. Your next level depends on this decision. Don't mix it. For more information, call 080-3869-8516. 080-3869-8516. Game Changer Conference 2025. Change your pattern, change your life.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah. That woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. And today on the show, we are beaming our spotlight, searchlight on Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah-led administration. And I have the SA media to the State Governor, Dan Walma, joining us live via telephone. Mr. Dan, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so to the listener on the other side of the radio, because I see that we've missed a couple of calls from listeners out there. They probably have a thing or two to add to the conversation. You can simply call us on 090735300044 or 09087668888. Better still, send a message only to the WhatsApp portal number on 09097054450. All right. So, Mr. Dan, now let's take a look at the health sector. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So, 2 years after, what has really changed in the health sector, and how affordable is healthcare for the average, Enugu resident?
Okay. The governor, from inception and even from his manifesto, made it clear that his conviction that the state cannot achieve the level of development he has envisioned without a healthy workforce and indeed a healthy populace. So, and when he came in, his campaign promise to the people of Enugu State, he said he was not going to do things better. That rather, he was going to do things differently. I was going to do things radically differently. So the turnaround we are witnessing in education, in infrastructure, it is also going on in healthcare. As a matter of fact, above security and education is governor's number one priority, of course. The security of the people is number one priority, but after security, next to security is education and then health. And this can be seen from the budgetary allocations of education getting 33% in 2 consecutive years, and healthcare getting almost 20%. So now, what the governor is doing is that he is establishing a brand new type 2 healthcare center in every ward in the state. We have the existing ones that are maybe are almost 400 in number, but he is establishing 260 type 2 level healthcare centers across the state. And as I'm talking to you now, about 100 have been completed. More than 100 have already been done. And when you say type 2, it means that there has to be a doctor employed and resident there. A type 2 health center also has a doctor's quarters. So a doctor is a 24-hour service. And it's not just a healthcare center. It's equipped and it's going to be totally free. In fact, if you check the UNICEF and WHO recent data, you see that the maternal and the child mortality in Enugu State is dropping in less than 2 years. But it doesn't end with primary health care. We also have the type 3 healthcare centers, one in each of the central zones. Then we have our general hospitals. If you go to the Enugu State, that's our flagship tertiary hospital, which is the Enugu State University Teaching Hospital, the old famous Parkland Hospital, right here in the middle of Enugu. You will see that a lot of changes are going on there. We have 3 buildings. 2 of them are 6-story buildings. They are almost at the 6th floor now. 20-story buildings. So they are expanding the facilities there, and another one for a nurses complex.
Okay.
So the aim is the population is growing, and the hospital is no longer able to admit the number of patients that they keep rejecting patients. So the facilities at the Parkland Hospital, Teaching Hospital, are being expanded.
Okay.
Then you come to the high-end medical facility. Of course, the governor is right now in the process of, in fact, the completion date is this December, because we visited the project recently. That is the Enugu international hospital. That is a 300-bed international hospital. Is the highest level of care because this is targeting the medical tourism market. The governor is trying to make Enugu the hub of medical tourism and indeed to reverse the trend of medical tourism so that Enugu will become a hub.
But is there a shortage of health, workers in the state amidst all of these infrastructural development in the health sector?
Good, yes. In fact, that was the first assessment that was done. The needs assessment to see and the last year about 2,000 new health workers were employed. Okay. And it's going to be a total of 5,600 health workers are going to be employed before the end of the year. Okay. So it's not just about building structures and equipping them. It's about identifying areas of need. So whether it's doctors, nurses. So if you go to like I called it, the flagship tertiary hospital we have in Enugu. When the government came in, the doctors were on strike. They were on frequent strike. We had cases of people brain drain. They were always migrating abroad because the teaching hospital they normally have a residency program for most of the doctors. They are residents, so there was no funding for their residency program. So that was the major reason why they were leaving. Now the governor has provided funding, and they are no longer leaving. They want to wait until they become consultants. So we are no longer witnessing the frequency of either the nurses or the doctors or pharmacists are striking. Okay. In fact, the strike has not happened under this administration.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that update. Very quickly, let's take a look at the education sector. We're made to understand at some point in time that there are plans to feed about over 300,000, school children daily with quality nutrition, and the plan is for September 2025, thereby ensuring a healthy learning environment. How realistic has that been? And we also understand that 33% of the state 2025 budget was actually allocated to education. What are the efforts on ground to ensure that all of these are properly monitored, properly implemented, and the monies are properly utilized?
Okay, so now you're talking about education, which, like I said, is the governor's number one priority besides security.
Right.
Right. And that is where you see the governor living up to his campaign promise of not just doing things better, but doing things radically differently. The governor's thinking, and he has been able to convince the people of Enugu State, that we need to shift. There has to be like a paradigm shift from our old method of learning, which focuses on memorization and rote learning, to what is called experiential learning. Experiential learning is where you are learning with practical demonstration of what you are learning. So if you are learning biology, if you are learning the digestive system, it's no longer enough to just be watching, be reading, and then be cramming, and then maybe seeing the pictures. No, you will see it demonstrated with digital boards. So we have done away with blackboards. We have done away with even whiteboards. What we are using now is digital boards that have access to Google, that have access to YouTube. So whatever you are teaching the children, they are seeing it. They are seeing it. So if you are teaching about the energy system, they will see the video of the intestines and everything.
All right.
So when they see all those things, they can imagine it's no longer just about what they are cramming.
Okay.
They are demonstrating it with the same. Of course, it's a very ambitious project.
All right.
I must admit.
Okay.
So the governor has devoted in 2 successive years 33% of the state budget, and we're talking of a budget as of 571 billion, and you're devoting 33%. So it's a lot, because what we're trying to do now is to build 260 smart schools across the state. Like I said before, we have 260 electoral wards. So what we're trying to do now is to do away with the old, decaying, abandoned, neglected schools.
Okay.
We have brand new schools that are ongoing now. It's a lot of money that is going to, but it's like you say, rightly observed, it's not just about the building. Okay. When you come to our smart school and see the level of equipment, and then about the staff, we have a experiential learning center where the teachers are undergoing training. In fact, the number of teachers targeted, the government is employing about 10,000 new teachers, and all of them have to be IT. IT savvy. They have to be people who are. If you cannot fit in, we will transfer you to nobody's going to be sacked.
All right.
But they will be transferred to other areas of the civil service.
All right.
Right?
All right,
and all the teachers are going to training and retraining. If you are not fitting, you'll be sent to another department.
Okay. Mr. Dan, I'm afraid time is not our friend. Quite frankly, we really wish to stretch this conversation a little further because there are other sectors also that we've not been able to, take a look at. But I'm afraid we just have to leave it here now so we can also accommodate other, sponsored programs. Dan Wauma is the SA media to the Enugu State Governor, and together we've been touchlighting different sector or sectoral achievement in Enugu State. Thank you so much for talking to us on the show today.
You're welcome. Right. I hope you'll be here next time.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, and that's just going to be about the size of, the show for today and this week because it's a Friday. We'll keep, tabs on the development in Enugu State and also report subsequently the latest updates. I'd like to state that the views expressed by the guests were not influenced by the station. And to those who have been calling, apologies for not taking your calls. You can already tell that